Okay, so this is Annabel from Glitter Bells, and it is a pretty chunky glitter. It's got some smaller medium glitters, it's got some small glitters, it's their pre-mixed glitters. And the other color on my hand is Sandcastle. I haven't done a clear dip yet. This is from Virgo and Gem. So anyway, okay, chunky glitters. So what I usually do is I will tap my glitters to the top, but with this one it's got like the super duper chunkies, right? Which make it more difficult to work with, but also like I don't want it to just be all chunky glitter. Like I want to be able to see some of the smaller glitters. So I'm going to give it a stir and like a shake and try and like bring some of them up to the top and get a nice little spot. Like right there is like kind of where I'm going to lay my finger. Okay, right in that spot where you can see. So with glitter I just do 2 dips usually, and I do like full dips, so I almost go all the way down to my cuticle, probably not like all the way down to the cuticle. Try and get the side walls really well. And then I just lay my finger, always lay my finger into chunky glitters. And if you need more time to work, IL-21's base is very, very slow drying, but I'm using triple vitamin. And then I stick my finger into the bag, or I stick like the glitter finger into the bag, or sometimes I stick my other finger into the bag and push from the outside. I don't know, I always do it different. And then I just lightly like tap and kind of like move them around where I want them to be, kind of. And then I will like take my toothpick and kind of clean up glitters that I don't want to be around. I kind of like push them away. If it's like super on the side like that, I will usually just like take it off. Also though, these are these like iridescent kind of flakes, so they usually buff off pretty easy. And I just try and get it as like cohesive as possible on the first dip. Whatever is not sticking is fine. And some things are kind of stuck up still, but that's okay. So that's what it looks like on the first dip. It's pretty good. These chunky glitters are difficult to work with. So I'm gonna not stir it or anything again because I feel like there's a lot of little stuff right in there. I'm just gonna try and like boop, pop it right on there again. So let's do our second dip. Again, I get it close to the cuticle, but maybe not like too close to the cuticle, because I have found with glitters you can get it like way too close to the cuticle. And then it just kind of like pushes on your cuticle, and it's not, I don't know how to explain it other than it's just too close. You can't get a good like file and buff in there. I'm trying to get on this side a little bit real good. And I always wipe my brush off when I'm doing chunky glitters on my second one, because there's usually always glitter on there, at least a little bit. So we got our bag, and I'm just gonna dip right in that spot again. You see that? I'm gonna stick my finger in the bag this time and kind of show you this way. This way probably works better, to be totally honest, but I do it both ways. And I'm just like lightly tapping. You can come around the edge and get all these off, but honestly, like it doesn't, like if you can't completely get it off, or you're like, but I don't want to take that whole one off, it's fine. Because again, you can just like buff and file on it and it'll look fine. Or you can try and do what I just did and just kind of move them over a little bit. And then, okay, so sometimes when you do chunky glitters, there will be like a spot that doesn't have like any glitter. Like somehow when you were tapping it like lifted off, or it just didn't want to stick there, or something weird happened, or you missed that spot with base or whatever, right? So let's take this side for example. You can just take your toothpick, and when you flick off and do all that, you get like glitters all over the place, right? So you can just take your toothpick, take a little base. There's like a little blob of base on there. I don't know if you can see it. But I'm just going to put that little blob right here on the side wall. Just stick it on there. And then I'm just going to take one of these like medium-sized glitters, because there's still base on there, and just stick it right in that blank spot. Take like a couple of them. Just stick them right in there. So sometimes I place like some of my glitters. I wouldn't say I place all of my glitters because I don't, but I do place some sometimes. And there's like another little kind of blank spot right there, which is also fine. Like, it's not that serious. No one's gonna notice, and if they do, they're looking way too closely at your hands. Although I promise you, no one's gonna notice. But you. So, I mean, if it bothers you, then definitely fix it. Which, who am I trying to kid? I always fix it. Okay, I like that. And it's cute. I was thinking about doing like a little vertical ombre. This may not turn out well at all, but we're gonna go for it because why not? So I take a little base, not too much, just a little bit. Brush it on the side. I'm just gonna do the whole nail. Take my little e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. It's like flat and also wide. Take my glitter. Trying to get in that spot where there's not too many like chunky ones, and get just the little glitters, because I can place the chunky glitters. And basically what I'm trying to do is just get the little glitters on there for now, and then I'll place a couple chunky ones. So with like this size of a glitter, you are gonna probably end up placing a lot of stuff. That's cute. I'm gonna take my bag. I'm just gonna tap those ones down a little bit, if they will. And then now I have like a ton of glitter. So I'm gonna put a little more base on my brush. And I'm just gonna like paint over that again. Just on the side here. Wipe my brush off, put my brush back in my thing. Take my toothpick with a little bit of base on it. And just kind of pick up some of these glitters and stick them on there. And if you're finding that you're having a hard time picking up the glitter, you can get a little more base on your toothpick and just stick it on there. I like it. Okay, so I am going to dip these all in clear, and then I will be back with a picture. I'm going to buff and file this one. You do want to make sure, since this is iridescent, it's not going to be too bad. You can like buff and file the sides of them a little bit, but you want to make sure you get like a good layer of clear on, like a thick layer of clear. So I'm going to do that, buff, file, be back with a picture.